Endorsing. Ono anaye Aguna West. MPP MPA owo. Sese wa vacating the seat. Because constitution ne say wunya wa ha na we wadwen say wo kwa ha. Baby I wote dada no unko biom. Eno na nkrofo bi church le bu say eye 2025 seats that were vacated. How? How can you vacate a futuristic seat? I mean, this one, me I mean your lawyer could have said metiasio. I could not even find was say me free so. Supreme Court not to say what they will do the right thing. I don't met in a case in this. What Supreme Court at you can't show some what he ain't lawyer for, but I could not anyhow. One test was my vacancy. Currently, you are sitting on something. So that's the one we are talking about. We've not gone to the polls to elect either a president or whoever in 2024. So how can you vacate that seat? 2025 seat now vacate. I mean, with yeah. Best enough yet me day. And we now to 2 years. Now can say anything to Morris and the bone come on. I'm saying, and then why tight? And see, would you be any way? We now money I miss me studio ha. Now afi me may catch it. Me cross him chum one me come and every day. Me all in China studio ha. Ye na him say Ghanian man penny back one or a professor. Professor John Evans Prez Atta Mills. Awenya ne baby call. Ne babema back up. And a woman chain her. I was studio her. You would be able to for the friend, no. But my friend Atta Mills answer me with some questions, no. Mr. Mills, I say.
But me here.
So we be fine.
We be able.
I want to do.
I want to do. We be able.
One for power. Ghana girls in how. Girls in how.
David, me have me.
Sir, and I won't pay.
David, me pay. Tomo have me.
Pay the ombe how pa.
Minimum can pay, but.
Minimum can pay. Why your friend Samuel Atta Mills? Who is Samuel Atta Mills?
Samuel Atta Mills.
Yes.
My uncle is Samuel Atta Mills. He's the MP actually for KEEA in the Central Region. But my name is Kofi Sam Atta Mills. It's a fancy name, Kofi Sam Atta Mills.
One name, Samuel Atta Mills.
My name is not Samuel. My name is Kofi Sam. My first name is Kofi Sam Atta Mills.
Kofi Sam.
Yes.
Oh,
so the Sam is not Samuel. It's Kofi Sam. Atta Mills.
So you are not Samuel. You are Kofi Sam Atta Mills.
Yes, that's my name. So my name is not Samuel or Sammy or any of that. It's Kofi Sam.
Okay. Unim. Me pese either Fanti, Tree, or the bro for kakra wono. Say.
Nadia pese will test me pa.
Me test o pa. Me pese me test o pa.
Test me. Me try.
Me try.
Pa.
I try, mommy pa.
Me catch you now.
Good. You look very tired. Where are you coming from? Who here neighbor? Me and me so on camera tree no. Me mum ko camera for.
Me free Sydney West. Kwame Danso. Me bedru fie 2 a.m. this morning. And I catch him say me will interview this morning. But I've been on the NDC campaign trail with the youth wing. We toured the whole of the northern region, upper east, northeast, and upper west, and then we descended into the OT region, and then from there I crossed over to Sydney West, and I heard of this interview. So yesterday I had to set off and get back to Accra. So I go home around 2 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, the campaign in Kosei.
I think it's good. I think that the NDC party has very good and interesting policies for the youth of Ghana. And in order for us to be able to benefit from the policies that the NDC has in place, it's important for some of us who really understand what these policies are to go out there and preach and send the message out there so that the young people out there and the youth, like myself, out there would be able to understand it properly and be able to go out there and give us the opportunity to come into office to roll out some of these amazing policies that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC want to deliver to us, the youth.
So what do you tell them when you meet the youth?
Oh, media, ya true manifesto ni mo, na meka. On say me switch am. Ya true manifesto ni na meka. Your friend saying, we share many NDC, even the youth manifesto now. For the first time ever, we've launched the youth manifesto. We show more. Bekacho say, the National Youth Apprenticeship Scheme ever. We show 24-hour economy now. John Mahama, I roll it out now.
Okay.
It is beneficial to the youth. No adult or no, grown-up person is going to be. The youth are the ones who have the employable skills in Ghana that are going to benefit from the 24-hour economy because of the high level of unemployment we are facing today. We share this Women Development Bank. It is for the young, vibrant women who want to go into business and start their own businesses. So that is also important. Due to some of the hardships that we are facing now, some of the young people are into betting to make small money. When you send money, this whole transaction and the e-levy that people pay, it is we that face it, the most. So it's important for us to go out there and let them know that His Excellency says that he understands what we are going through. He would make sure that when he comes, he reduces the financial burden on us by erasing some of this, nuisance taxes that has been imposed on us, And so even as down as free SHS, we all know that His Excellency started the progressive free SHS, but someone else is out there saying that we say we'll cancel it. It's never true. When the first e-block that was inaugurated was in my father's place, Ekunfi. And on that very day, he openly said that we have launched, I was there, he said we have launched the progressive free SHS program. And so it was a policy that NDC rolled out, So for people to go out there and say that, oh, His Excellency John Mahama will cancel it, it's almost as if he's going against his own policy, which is never true.
Campaigning year.
It's difficult. Tell you what, being on this campaign trail has really made me appreciate my father a lot. When my father was going through, when he was
this has made you to appreciate your father
a lot. Because, the goodwill of my father was following me today. It's not because, like you said, I'm handsome or anything. I'm sitting here today because of the goodwill that followed my father.
Okay.
And what he went through to get there is what I'm experiencing now. Going on the campaign trail, traveling the length and breadth of this country is tiring, it's expensive, it's not easy. There are times we are sleeping in the car. It's me that come you're sorry enough and car crash say you had diet. But I mean, it's a good experience. I appreciate it. It humbles you a lot.
Also that you
Obrey.
I mean, he started from 2008.
No, he actually started this thing in 1999 because he went to 2000,
2004, 2008.
Actually, before then, he was running mate to former President
1996.
So he started. Whoa.
So you can tell. From 1996.
Exactly.
Up to 2008. That's a lot.
It's a lot. The man really, he really went through it, and I'm complaining now, but I imagine how he felt.
So until we share, said our papa caught rounds, and then the one so started to say, and it's what in the future, either an MP or you want to be a president like your dad.
Whoa. Honestly speaking, it hasn't really crossed my mind yet. I feel like it's important for us to focus on what's ahead of us. The future that we want to carve for ourselves, has to start from somewhere. So in order for us to build the blocks that would take us there, we must focus now on how we build the foundation. And for me, that's my main focus in trying to make sure that, the foundation that we are craving for now is solid. And that's why I've decided to come out of my house, and champion this campaign for the NDC and for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Whatever the future holds after that, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But for now, my main focus is making sure that we win this election and win it well.
Well, what happens if Mahama wins and says that, oh, Sammy, as a minister, look, I'm calling you Sammy, sorry, Sam.
Kofi
Sam. Kofi Sam Atta Mills. We are all calling you Sammy, Samuel, and all that.
It's Kofi.
Okay.
It's Kofi, yes.
Would you accept it?
I mean, it will be an amazing opportunity for him to recognize that, or even believe that I have the potential to do what he wants me to do. Of course, I mean, what's wrong with it? If he believes that I can deliver and I look at it and I believe that it's something that I can handle, of course, politics is about public service. So it will be in the interest, for what Ghanaians did for my father to also give back to the country. So His Excellency, recognizes the efforts and believes that I have the potential to handle a particular sector or whatever he believes I can do, and he decides to give it to me. I would have to just go there and do it to the best of my abilities and make sure that we serve the public or the Ghanaian people to the best of our abilities as we can.
Papa Professor John Evans, Fifi Atta Mills. I mean, almost all the political scientists and almost every Ghanaian think that my father was a cool-hearted person and the few years he lived with us as the President of the Republic, his influence and his contribution to Ghana. Influence Ben and Wenya also as his only son.
Let me just set this record straight. I'm my father's biggest fan. No, I don't think anybody is a bigger fan of my father than I am.
Okay.
I am my father's biggest fan.
Okay.
No matter what he did, I believed in it because, I believe that my father was an extraordinary person.
Okay.
100%. And I'm living in his glory. So I cherish him, to the highest pedigree. Now, unfortunately for me, I was very young when my father rose to this glorified person that I adore today. And let me say this. I don't think I knew my father the way I should have known him.
Okay.
And so, this memorial lecture that the NDC party puts in place every year, it's so educative to me because I learn so much about him and I'm always blown away by some of the things that say about him and the things he did. Even on this campaign trail, I meet random people or even party executives, and then and I've never met them before. And that's why I said that the goodwill of my father is what I'm living in today. And I'm very happy to have someone like him to look up to, someone like him that people reference me to, and stuff. Living with my dad, before he passed away, it was the best experience I've ever had in my life. Waking up, doing morning devotion. He was a staunch Christian. He woe-betides me to miss morning devotion in the morning. And some of these things that, he taught me and introduced me to are the things that are helping me shape my life today. As a young man, as a business person, as a family man, these are some of the things that is helping shape the direction that, I want to go in. Okay. How calm he was, through persecution, people abusing him as president. He was very calm and collective. He was very slow to anger, very principled human being, you know, and exercise the highest level of integrity. And I try my very best to also try and exercise those attributes of his, you know, in my daily life as I go on. You know, so my father dear, champion number one.
Time now, OD president, I'm sure you said it right here. Say people abused him and all that. I mean, insults and all that. How did you feel as a son that time?
You know, it was tough, you know, being a young man. Of course, I was quite immature. I spent most of my time in the UK, but, you know, growing up in the UK, you know, we are privileged enough to, you know, voice out our opinions, whether it's right or not. So you have the opportunity to say what you think, you know. And I always used to get upset because I wake up very early in the morning, you go on the internet, and the people are just spewing all sorts of misinformation about him. And of course, living with him, I know that but this is not what he said or this is not what he did. And I used to go upstairs into his bedroom fuming, and I'll be showing him, and he would rather be calming me down. And I'll be looking at him like, hey, chairman, me cool kwama on afede o. Yes. So, you know, I don't have words to describe him and his demeanor and his nature, and, you know, he was just an amazing person.
Okay, so you were in UK and he was here as a president. How close were you to him, either by phone or whatever?
I was quite close to my father. He was very interested in my education. Let me tell you this. My father wanted me to go to London School of Economics.
Okay.
And, you know, I studied mathematics, so I'm a numbers guy. I'm a mathematician. Okay. My father's older sister that I grew up with, Auntie Efe of blessed memory, she taught mathematics at Ola Training College in Cape Coast, Teachers Training College. So growing up with her, you know, you cannot fail in maths. So I was a mathematician, and I wanted to go and study engineering. Actually, I did study engineering. I'm a structural engineer by profession. Okay. So I wanted to go into engineering, but my father wanted me to go and read law and economics and all of that. He wanted me to follow his path. And it became a big fight.
Between you and him?
Oh, it was a big fight. You see, as a father, now I understand him, because sometimes I look at my son and I'm like, you know, he needs to. Sometimes my son, when he's on half term or, you know, public holidays, I take him to my office, you know, just so that he can start seeing what daddy is doing. So I understand now, but at the time, you know, I thought that, you know, I knew what I wanted to do.
So you wish you'd have studied economics and law?
Not necessarily, but I'm just saying, I'm showing you how passionate he was
about your education,
about my education, and wanting to, you know, help direct and shape, you know, what direction I should go in and stuff. I mean, we fought to the extent that I just wanted to, you know, do the engineering and pass and, you know, show him that, look, I did it. And, you know,
pass.
And I went and did it. I went and passed and brought it. And he was proud of me, you know, knowing very well that, you know, I went against his wishes. But, you know, going and passing well and, you know, chartering and becoming a chartered engineer, he was very happy with it. But he was extremely, you know, interested in my education, and he was very instrumental in, you know, wanting to shape which direction I went into.
Did you speak to him either a day, 2 days, or even that day before he passed on?
I was living with him at the castle with him. I was with him in the morning. We had breakfast together.
That same day?
That morning. We had every day. If I'm not there, he won't eat. We ate. Yeah, if I'm not at the table, he will. People that were around would testify. If I'm not there, he would let them call me to come and eat. He wanted to make sure I'd eaten. He wanted to make sure that I was okay and stuff. But I knew he wasn't well. And, you know, God knew best. So he you know,
so
the time came.
You knowing that Dad was not well, always asking you to come have breakfast with him, what was your prayer?
Honestly, death is not something that you can predict to say that it will come today or tomorrow. Yeah. But it's you know, it was a big blow. You know, we would have all prayed that, you know, he pulled through whatever he was going through. And you see, my father was also very protective. You know, he over me. Let me put it that way. My father was extremely protective over me.
Overly protective of you.
He was very, you know, he even allowed people to say that he didn't have a child because he wasn't in his best interest. He felt it wasn't in his best interest for him to expose me as his only child. You know, and because of that, I realized that I was his weakness, and he didn't want people to have that level of access to me. So, you know, majority of the things he was going through, you know, I believe that in his best knowledge, believed that he didn't think I wanted to be too worried about it or be too informed in it for me to obviously start acting out of character about it and all those things. So, you know, most of the stuff I pretty much didn't know, but I could tell that, you know, he wasn't, you know, in the best of shapes. But, you know, dying wasn't one of my foremost. It wasn't on my mind or something. But I mean, God knew best. So.
So, okay. So you were here when it happened. How did you feel when the news was broken to you? How did you feel? I mean, I know it's a very tough question.
Yeah, it is, and it's 12 years, and I don't really like to.
How old were you then?
It's 22. You
were 22 then?
Yes. You know, it was tough. I mean, it's always been tough because we eulogize him every year, and it's a constant reminder of, you know, what happened and how I felt, and being an only child, of course you would feel lonely. I was in Ghana because of my dad.
Okay.
You know, I had no other reason to be here. It was him. You know, when I finished engineering and I passed well, he brought me to Ghana because at the time there was a recession in the UK. They were laying people off. So once you come out of school with little experience in the trade that you wanted to be in, it was difficult because there was a huge layoff for engineers, and when there's recession, the construction industry is where, you know, it hits first. So he told me to come to Ghana to gain some experience here. So I was working with China State, Mr. Su at the time, you know. So he was also very interested in making sure that I gained the necessary experience in the field that I'd chosen to be in. So, you know, living with him and every evening coming back from work and telling him, the type of job 600. I was on that site. I was part of the team.
Those who renovated that place.
Well, yes, building the whole, even the judicial service project, the new court complex. I was part of the team with China State that executed that project right from the inception of the project and stuff. So it was very, 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 interested in what I did, but the vibrancy of our relationship and how he passed away was a big blow for me. Because I thought that I'd just got in the swing of things with him, and our Saturday morning conversations, and he used to talk to me about his past, when he was in SOAS and LSE, and when he went to Stanford. We had amazing conversations and stuff, and for him to just pass away, it was a tough time. It was a very, very, very tough time. I felt alone, in that space. But I had people come to my aid, especially His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He was he was extremely good to me. I can't even quantify it in words. But
you mean Mahama?
Yes, JM. He came through for me in a very massive way. He's in Madam Auntie Lodina. She overnight became a mother to me. It was. They helped me a lot because I was going through a lot, So.
Were you there when it happened?
I was there.
You were right there.
I wasn't at the scene per se, but
okay.
I was in the castle when it happened.
The castle when you were you restricted from going to the area where I'm sure when you heard about it, you would want to go there, see your dad, looking at the bond that existed between both of you.
No, I think everybody was confused. I think it was an impromptu thing. I think everybody was literally just running around. It wasn't as if somebody was being restricted or anything, taking him to the hospital. I mean, he's the president. More people have access to him than I do. especially with the security details and all of that stuff. So it wasn't as if somebody was purposely trying to restrict or, no, everybody was like, hey, what's happening? How can we salvage the situation? Let's figure it out. Let's take him to a hospital. So I think everybody was in panic mode. So there wasn't any of that type of, let's stop this or anything like that. Everybody was trying to figure out.
So you saw your dad being conveyed to the hospital. You were there.
Of course.
Did you follow up, or you were asked to stay until maybe?
I mean, of course. I mean, I didn't follow to the hospital. I think that the people there in their right mind thought that it was important for me to stay back for them to go and handle it. I was too. I understand, because I would have been too young to even comprehend.
Okay.
Or to even face.
Would have been too much for you to consume.
Of course.
Okay.
So,
do you think we've celebrated him enough? Your dad?
100%. I think.
As a country, have we actually eulogized him
at
that level?
I think we have. I think we have. And look, the NDC have done it all. I mean, every year without a fail. And it's almost like it's tattooed into their schedule for the year.
Okay.
It happens every single year. It's like clockwork. It does not end. I thought that maybe even after the 10th year they would take a break and even do it every 5 years or something. They're still doing it religiously every year. And the team that's in place, that's running it, are doing an amazing and fantastic job. They put together all the things or the speeches or the lectures that people have, delivered about my father. I have a copy of it. I go through it in my office, and every day it's a learning curve for me.
How often do you visit Asomdwe Park?
I go there quite a lot. I actually take my children there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I take my
to see
children
their
there.
grandfather.
Well, yeah, they didn't meet him, but I always take them. And I feel like, there's this aura and, energy in that place when I go there with the family, and we kind of just talk to him and, just...
So what do you tell him when you go there?
These are your grandchildren that he decided to, not meet. But they love going there as well. There's like a park.
Okay.
On
the other side,
the Geese Park. And then they like the ostriches there, so we take some stuff to go and feed. And then I think there's a fish pond there as well, so I take them there, and then after they go to feed the ostriches and the geese and the fish in the fish pond, and they like it there. And I've actually taken them on a tour of the Osu Castle. I showed them where my room was, where their grandfather used to be, and they love it. So. I feel the sense of responsibility to educate them about who they are and where they came from and how we got to where we are today.
Let's stay at Asomdwe Park for some time. 2 or 3 questions there. That's where your dad is, and I'm sure you heard about what happened when they were doing an anniversary of your father and Kweku Ayidoho, and this one is Atta Mills' family, this one is not Atta Mills' family. All that brouhaha when you hear.
Captain Smart.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. I've stayed away from this thing.
No, today you have to.
And, I'm not an island in this world.
Okay.
I come from a family.
That's right.
And I think that my family, being headed by my father's brother, Kadman Atta Mills, are doing a good job.
Okay, so your father's family is being headed by Kadman Atta Mills.
He's the bishop in...
Bam.
There's no other bishop in anywhere that I know. I know that Kadman Atta Mills, Bishop in Kojo Dufu, if I'm not wrong, is the head of my family in my father's side.
Okay.
And he is who we take our instructions from.
Okay.
So I believe that they are doing very well. And my uncle, Samuel Atta Mills, the MP, he's also doing an amazing job. But honestly speaking, I think that this whole brouhaha is boring. It's extremely boring. President Mills had many sons, He had many young people that in his time that he wanted to, you know, mentor and bring up within the political space, you know. And God being so good and knowing what's best, took him away at the time that he did. Now, I think that it's important for us to acknowledge and appreciate that everybody grieves in their own way. Some people can decide to grieve for the rest of their lives, and other people can also decide to move on and do something for themselves that would make their mentor proud, even in their grave or in their afterlife. So when people decide that, you know what, President Mills did well for us, but we also have to make him proud by becoming something with what he taught us and moving on and, you know, living to the best of their abilities, it's also okay. And I also think that it's okay for people to continue to sulk for the rest of their life, because that is how they decide that they want to deal with it. But when you start, you know, acting out of character to the person that you are eulogizing by, you know, starting to, you know, now become a threat to his you know, attributes. See, when you say someone is your mentor, you have to behave synonymously to how the person is.
That's right, okay.
You know, so if we are saying President Mills is Asomdwe Hene and, you know, he was slow to anger and, you know, we had a very high level of integrity and all of that stuff, I think it's important for us to try and, you know, emulate that, just so that tomorrow when you go and say, oh, that was Atta Mills' boy, just the person's persona and how they behave and how they act would prove that true President Mills brought this person up or President Mills mentored this person. But when we start, you know, becoming mischievous and decide that we will not just understand and go against all of these things that we're talking about, then you have to, you know, take away the name Atta Mills. Because at that point, you're putting the name Atta Mills in disrepute. Because now, are you telling us that this is what President Mills taught you to do? Are you getting where I'm coming from?
I'm following you.
You see, and for me, what really broke the camel's back was this anniversary that happened in July 2024 this year. When I was there with my aunties and my uncles.
Oh, you were there?
I was there with my aunties and my uncles who are direct siblings of my father. And, you know, you bring a group of people.
Who?
Koko Ayindaho brings a group of people to Asomdwe Park and now brands them as the real family of President John Atta Mills. You know, completely ignoring the fact that his siblings from his mother both share the same mother and father are there. I think it's extremely disrespectful. And you would not behave like this if President Mills was around. You know, when you do that, you are extremely mischievous. You see, this is President Mills who, you know, at the time Koko Ayindaho was the communications director, he was the same person that when President Mills was being abused by the opposition party. Remember when President Mills went to China to go and get the loan for that turbo gas project? Yes. The same people who went around saying that, oh, he has sold the country and all those things, they were wearing black to Parliament, showing him red card in Parliament, that you as communication director was fighting them. Today, they are your friends, and you are. You see, it shows that you don't have any principles. It shows that it's like, well, like the morals are. Like, we can't even identify who you are anymore, you know. And I think it tarnishes your credibility as a person, because if they are fighting President Mills for borrowing 1 billion or 3 billion or whatever the amount was, look at the amount of money this current government has borrowed. But you are siding with them and claiming that they are much better than the Atta Mills John Mahama administration. So where do you stand? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you do that, now your credibility is in tatters, because now nobody even knows who you are anymore. There's zero principles, nothing. You have no, you know, I don't even know how to, and that's why I decided to stay out of it, because I don't even see why, you know, I should participate in such, you know, such things.
Do you talk to him?
Honestly, I don't remember the last time I spoke to him. I met him at a mutual friend that we have. His mother passed away, and I went to the funeral. Adolf is a very good friend of mine, and I went, and he was there, you know. But besides that, I don't have a direct number for him or anything. He's not someone I pick up a call and pick up the phone and speak to him. And well, I'll be damned if tomorrow or later on today he's out attacking me. But the fact of the matter is, it is boring. Just let it go.
Are you disappointed in his actions?
It's extremely disappointing.
Oh.
It's extremely disappointing. It doesn't make any sense. If the family of Prez Atta Mills decide that this is what they want to do, leave us to do it. And this is it. I don't get it. And this is the last time I'm going to speak about it because it's jarring.
Is it because maybe the family granted him a lot of space to operate within your family circles?
The Atta Mills family naturally is very accommodative.
Okay.
So when you come and we believe you have good intentions, we will accommodate you. But when you come and you pretend you have good intentions and then now you are using that, you know, that grace that we've given you to your own advantage and you start abusing it, then it becomes a problem. You see, so for me, if you have a fight with somebody else, find your own space and fight it. We are all human beings. We don't get along with a lot of people. But that doesn't necessarily mean we should come and wash our, you know, dirty clothes in public. Some of these things, we have to exercise very high level of discretion in how we deliver ourselves. And, you know, that's my personal opinion.
So now what's the relationship between the family, not you, I mean the entire family and him as Kwekwa in the whole?
Again, like I said, I have a family here and they are dealing with it, you know, and they in their best of knowledge would know how to handle him. And they're doing it, I believe. I mean...
He's established the foundation using your father's name.
Again, he has the right to do whatever he likes, but like I'm saying, the family heads are working around the clock to try and, you know, preserve the Atta Mills name that we all carry, you know, and they'll do it to the very best strength that they have. So, for me, I trust them to do the right thing.
Okay. I met your father at Edumfa, and one of the key things he wanted to make sure he's able to do is to eradicate poverty, if not to eradicate completely. I mean, to reduce poverty. Let me use it this way. And unfortunately, he left us. Where we are today, what do you think about the situation we find ourselves in as a country? We're youth.
Well, again, I think my father really understood what public service was.
Okay.
You know, he understood what it meant to be a public servant. He understood that, you know, even when he won the election, he publicly said that he's going to be president for all Ghanaians, whether you voted for him or not.
Father for all.
Father for all. And if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected. That I think that he even had issues with his own party people when he also tried to, you know, keep certain people in position, you know, because he thought that maybe they understood or they knew what to do in their respective areas of work. He believed in, you know, inclusive government, making sure that nobody is left out. And he also wanted to make sure that, you know, every Ghanaian benefited from the opportunities that Ghana had to offer. So I believe that in his best of abilities, he tried to put in structures that would help economic growth. Now, if you remember, during the Mills Mahama administration, Ghana was being praised in becoming the fastest economy growing, not just in Africa, but in the world.
Yeah.
With inflation at single digits.
That's right.
You know, so they were really working hard to make sure that, you know, the circumstance that they came to meet Ghana in was gradually improving. You know, and, you know, Ghana becoming the shining star of Africa, the gateway to Africa. You know, we set up the brand Ghana just to make sure that we are promoting, you know, Ghanaian produce and everything to do with Ghana to the rest of the world. And all of that today, you know, it's difficult to continue to brag about such achievement because most of those things that were put in place are being eroded by how not being able to maintain those structures of growth and economic growth that were put in place. So not being able to manage the system and the structures that were put in place to be able to achieve the fastest economic growing is what we are facing today. We are today when you go to market, food prices are skyrocketing, and you wonder why. The forex industry is literally down the drain.
16.5.
And you farmers are struggling now because they are not able to meet the demand that they're supposed to meet because of how expensive it is now to grow their farm produce. If you look on the markets very well, you realize that things that we import into the country happen to be a bit more cheaper than the stuff that we grow here. Why? Because it's more expensive to grow the stuff here. So, these are some of the things that, during the Mills Mahama administration, they tried to put in the right economic structures to be able to make sure that we are growing at a state. During that time, that's when Ghana became a middle-income country. After they implemented the single-span salary structure that, people were able to, earn enough money for a living. None of that has been, improved on now. None of the structures in place have been improved on or said that they've added value to it.
You think that they don't? Is it a matter of they not understanding the structures that were put in place by your father and Mahama, or you think that actually they do not know anything about managing the nation?
I don't think it's necessarily about not knowing anything I just think that it's more of not being able to, people come in with their own ideas.
Okay.
But how, you see, you cannot break something, you cannot change something that's not broken. You get what I'm saying? The system was already working.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want to say about it, but the system was working because the results were there. People could see it. The international community was praising Ghana. People wanted to bring their money in to come and invest. Today, all the international investors and businesses, majority of them are pulling out. Some people don't have confidence in the economy anymore. Everybody is waiting for what's going to happen in December to figure out how they want to invest in Ghana or whether they want to pull out. And that is because we are not able to build upon the structures. Somebody will build something, you'd come and then you break it and start again. But when you do that, you're actually taking us back. Now, when you take us back, you don't have the clear path to actually come and say that this is what I want to do. And that's what we're facing now. We're facing, it's almost as if we're going through an identity crisis. Oh, Ghana was doing very well, and then all of a sudden, oh, Ghana has a junk currency. So now you don't even know how to brand Ghana anymore.
Okay.
Because...
Now, I don't describe your father as Professor Doolittle. How will you describe him?
Professor Doolittle achieved the fastest economy growing in the world. Where's the economy today? See, these are the hard questions you should ask. What the same Professor Doolittle achieved the fastest economy growing in the world. He inherited a HIPIC economy, but he was able to turn it around and make it the fastest economy growing in the world. Today, where's Ghana's economy? You see, it's propaganda. People will say anything because of politics, but politics should be about service to the people. It shouldn't be partisan and, vindictiveness and all that. President Mills was not about that. And you see, even if you come down to President Mahama, what didn't they say about President Mahama? People abused him all, but you never see the type of, hostility that we have in the system now during President Mahama's time. And this is, you see, why do you think the youth are hitting the streets today? It's because everybody is tired. It's like you go and say something and you're being victimized for it. Why? These are the hard questions we have to ask, and this is the direction Ghana is going through, because unfortunately, majority of the youth are now educated to the same level as those we call our big men. So there's nothing you can tell us that we don't already know. And we control the workforce of Ghana. If the youth today decide that they will not work, Ghana is collapsing. So we want to do the work and do it well, but you have to create an enabling environment for us to come in and work.
You think the youth have been offered enough space? I
We
mean,
don't-
the role to play.
We don't have the space, and that's what we're fighting for. That's what when we hit the road, it's because we don't have any other alternative. We are home and we don't have the money. We don't have employment. They come in and say we've created 2,000 or whatever amount of jobs. We don't see them. Where are they today? You collapse banks and render people, you send them home, and then you set up YEA comes in and tells you that after getting a degree, you should take a broom and go and sweep the side of the streets. I mean, it's very demeaning to we the young people. We just want a simple life and a better life. Okay. And that's what we're asking for.
All right, his name is Kofi Sam Atta Mills, the son of our late President John Evans Fifi Atta Mills. Now, I want to ask one question with 3 departments.
Wow.
Okay. Are you following Mahama? Are you campaigning for him? One, because when your dad passed away, he and his wife took you as a son. That's number 1. 2, are you following him because he was a running mate to your father, who eventually became the president, the vice president and president after your dad passed on? Or you think you have seen something extraordinary that he would be able to achieve if he's given the nod?
Okay, so again, my father took President John Dramani Mahama as his running mate. Mm-hmm. Again, like I told you, I'm the biggest fan of my father. I believe my father was the most intelligent human being on this planet. Mm-hmm. That is my personal opinion. And I'll
You're entitled to that.
Exactly. And in his right mind, he believed that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the best person to work with and assist him to achieve the goals that he had and he had set for Ghana. Mm. Even after President Mills passed away, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because they worked together and they had a plan, followed the plan through. Now, if you look at the gains President Mahama made, it was all part of the greater plan that they put together, and President Mahama did not veer away from it. He made sure that he continued as president and made sure that he achieved it, whether it's in the education sector, whether it's in the health sector, whether it's in the road sector, any sector that you want to talk about. President Mahama made extraordinary gains, through it. And it was through the mentoring and the opportunity he had to be with his former boss, President Mills, to be able to get to that point. And for me, I believe that President Mahama, at this current juncture we are as a country, is the right person to come and continue that. Look, even when you talk about health sector, during President Mahama's time, we built 1,600 chip within 4 years. How many of Agenda 111 has been integrated? And that's 111. But President Mahama achieved 1,600 in 4 years. So why wouldn't we go back to such a person who has proven that he can deliver? And that's why when the NDC as a party chooses that this is the person that we want to lead us, the party has thought through it and believed, look at the margin that he won by, because the party believed that he is the right person, because he had the right direction and we know where we're going. And for me, look, the NDC made President Mills. If it wasn't for NDC, President Mills would not become president. They decided that they will, give him the opportunity to come and lead them. Okay. So for me, I owe everything to the NDC. And unfortunately for everybody else, I believe in the process of the NDC. So regardless, that's where I'm at.
And you think Mahama is the right person?
100%, without a shadow of a doubt.
You think that he would do a good work?
I think when we give him the opportunity and he becomes president, Ghanaians will regret voting him out in 2016 or not bringing him back in 2020.
And you think that he will be able to reset and change lives?
I've read the manifesto from A to Z, and even the appendices, President Mahama will deliver everything that we have said we will do.
You believe he can manage the economy better than any of the contenders?
He would even manage it better than the, what do they call them? I think they call them what? The solid team. He single-handedly will do it better than the solid team.
The solid team, you mean the current MPP economic management team?
Well, those called the solid team. President Mahama will manage the economy better than them.
Sami Abamia described President Mahama as incompetent. You remember that?
We do. I do remember it.
A word to describe Bawumia.
Wow, Captain Swan, you want to cause problem for me? Honestly, extremely disappointing.
Extremely disappointing.
Disappointing. I mean, that's the best word I can use, and that's me even being very, charitable about my choice of words. Extremely disappointing, because if you listen to, the things that he propagated, even against the late Vice President Prez Atta, and what's happening today, you'd think that it's a different person, or it's like a twin brother of his, or they have mutated him into someone else has come to they called him the economic whiz kid. His wife called him the economic whiz kid. Today we are suffering. Today we don't have money. Today the economy is in shambles. So where's the whiz kidness of this? So it's disappointing. It's extremely disappointing. I would have been happy if they came in and did well. We would have all said that, hey, Chief,
you've done well.
You
teach him out.
But it's a shame. It's a complete shame.
Maybe I want to know who show me okay. And then pa back on a Ghana ha. Out of the hundreds and thousands of issues and whatever. Asemba kubem pan esi in this administration. What here pa say and Kofoya say, oh
my goodness. Oh no, Captain Smart. Wow. You know what?
Tell me.
Every day that I see the amount of money that has been borrowed by this government, especially when they campaigned about their own slogans, Yasitikaso, Komdia, Sikano Wahase, Ghana Nyahiyamai. You get what I'm saying? And you come in and you're not able to make the money that or show us the money that you claim is here, and then you go out and excessively borrow to the tune that now we cannot even pay our debts back, and now every Ghana is owing over 20,000 Ghana cedis. Now, if you go to some of these remote villages, I just came from Kwame, so now if you go to one of those remote villages and tell every single one of them that they're owing over 20,000 Ghana cedis without even going to the bank to borrow it, which, by the way, is growing interest every day, how do you think they should feel? You see? And these are some of the things that I don't think that we properly understand the severity and the grave economy that has been dug for us. Because if we did, if you say something, they'll say you're radical. But you see, if we really did understand how grave the situation is, we would not be sitting calm like this. So for me, there's nothing to show for.
Okay. In 2 minutes, that's going to be my final question to you. And if you want to add anything, then we can finish this interview. Okay. In 2 minutes, convince me and the Ghanaian out there why we should vote for Mahama.
Okay. So, I strongly believe that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama currently is the right person to lead Ghana. He's done it before. He's been president. When he was president, we also saw some of the infrastructure development that he did. Now, if you look at the current manifesto that NDC has launched, which was approved by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you realize that he has a key interest in the youth. He realizes that the economic hardship that we are facing today, majority, the people that face it more is the youth. So he's brought out the 24-hour economy, you know, due to the high levels of unemployment today. Now, if you want to be able to gain employment in the next administration of the NDC, he's come up with this formula 133, meaning that there are certain or particular areas or sectors that can run 24 hours. Now, why should one person do the job and close at 5 o'clock and then the job space becomes dormant? Someone else can go and continue to the afternoon and another person can continue to the next morning. In that way, you have actually more or less doubled the employment rate as it is today. You know, when you talk about those of us or some of my brothers and sisters who were not able to, you know, get the highest level of education, he says if you want to learn how to become an apprentice in whatever field you want to do, I believe in tree, they say in Sanujuma.
Yes,
so if you want to become an electrician, plumber, whatever you want to go, if you're a woman and you want to, you know, become a seamstress or go into hair making or whatever it is, you know, he wants to, you know, employ and train you. And then after training you, he would help you set up by giving you a facility to set up your own practice so that you can also work and earn money. You know, and that is how the economy is able to grow. The private sector is supposed to grow the economy. So by creating these enabling environments, it's going to help the private sector to grow the economy. You know, if you look at the agro industry, food, you know, insufficient food is a national security issue. He says that when he comes, he wants to reinforce the agro industry. Farmers will get farm machineries at their district assemblies. Those times during John Mahama's administration, we used to give the farmers fertilizer. The fisher folks, we used to give them premix. Today, they have to buy it at a very high cost, you see. And he's saying that, you know, when he comes back, when he talks about reset, we are going back to meet these, you know, subsidies that he was given to the agro industries. You know, instead of buying fertilizer, he'll give it to you for free. When you go to when it's time for harvest, when you go to a district assembly, they would have harvest machines that you can use. When you harvest and you make a bit of money, you go and pay them because that's the same money that they would use to maintain the machines for your next harvest. Here, sector by sector, he has made sure that he has addressed all the issues. Fortunately for me, I was able to follow him through his primaries when he was going around to ask we went around in all the regions to ask the people, what can we do to help your situation? What do you need? And we tailored our manifesto to meet the needs of the people that we want, the people, what the people want. You see, so for me, I believe that we have a comprehensive plan as a party, our leader as President Mahama, to be able to execute, to liberate Ghanaians from the hardship and the economic difficulties that we're going through now. So for me, if you ask him, vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama come this December 7th. Just look for the umbrella and give us the opportunity to come and, you know, implement some of these amazing and exciting policies that we have in place for the people of Ghana. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Kofi Sam Atta Mills, for your time this morning. So that's Kofi Sam Atta Mills, the son of our late president.
Sorry, I spoke much English than
that's okay. You are comfortable with that language, so it's fine with us. It's fine with us. Okay, so yeah, time na kani na ya